सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अग्रे पश्यामि तेजो निबिडतरकला यावली लोभनीयं पीयूषाप्लावितोऽहं तदुतरे दिव्यकैशोरवेशं तारुण्यारम्भरम्यं परमसुखरसास्वाद रोमाञ्चिताङ्गैः आवीतं नारदाद्यैः विलसदुपनिषत् सुन्दरी मण्डलैश्च।
Gurupavanapure Hantabhagyam Janana. Namaskaram to all the Astikas. In Krishna Avataram, Balalila is very, very enjoyable. One such instance is where Krishna gets angry at Yashoda for not having concentrating on him and concentrating on the boiling milk. So he ends up breaking the pot. Dadhi Manthabhajanam. When Yashoda sees this, she thinks as a mother, it is her duty, her kartavya, to correct her son. So she pulls him over, uses a rope, and he makes it conducive enough for her to tie him up with a mortar. She even reprimands, she commands, she says you should not move from this place. But Krishna, being Krishna, continues consuming the butter that is found in the cavity of the mortar. But something very unique happened after this. What is it? Bhattatri says, Muda surogaistva mudara sammadaihi udirya damodara ityabhishtutaha mrududara svaira mulukale laganna duratodvau kakubhavu daikshataha Abhishtutaha muda udirya. Joy, the joy that comes in extolling by uttering. You have to utter. What is it? Damodaraha iti. So, Dama, Udare, Yasya Saha, Damodaraha. Dama, that rope. Udare, in whosoever abdomen, Udara Bhagam, Yasya Saha, that person shall be called by the word Damodara. Which with the name itself is indicative that he is so accessible. So the Devas started extolling him. Damodaraha iti surogaihi udara sammadaihi. The host of Devas who were there, they were filled with joy. Tvam mrududaraha. You who was endowed with a very tender belly. So he says mrududaraha. Udaraha mrudu. It is very, very tender. Laganne swairam ulukhale, and you were comfortably tied to the mortar. Udaikshataha adurataha. But suddenly Krishna's eyes did not go very far. Adurataha. He could see something in the proximity. Udairataha, adurataha, udaikshataha. That too with eyes that were looking upwards. What happened? He looks there and checks on something. What is it? Dvau kakubhau. Two Arjuna trees. So these are called as Kakubhau, two trees that were spotted. Dvau Kakubhau were spotted. Kubera sunur nalakubara bidhaha paro manigriva yiti pratham gataha mahesha sevadigata shriyormadau chiram kilatvad vimukhavalekatam ekaha Kubera Sunuhu, Ekaha, one. Kubera Sunuhu, one son of Kubera, Nala Kubara Abidaha. What was his name? Nala Kubara Abidaha. So he was known to the people, Nala Kubara Abidaha, Param Pratham Gataha Manigriva Iti. There was another son. He had attained that fame by having that name Manigriva. Manigriva Paraha Prathangataha. So this is how he was famously known. So one son was Nalakubara, the other one was called Manigriva. Tau Unmadau Mahesha Seva Adhigata Shriya. So they earlier used to keep serving Maheshwaraha, Kshipra Prasadaha, Ashutoshi. Bhagavan Shiva is known to be very graceful, very benevolent towards his devotees. So they obtained various boons from Mahesha, from Shiva. And like an Asura, interestingly, Asuras are very hardworking, but when they receive boons, they get puffed with pride. So was the case even with the sons of Kubera, Nalakubara and Manigriva. Unmadau Mahesha Seva Adhigata Shriya. Because of that excess opulence received in the form of boons from Mahesha, Unmadau, both of them developed that false sense of pride in them. Tvad Vimukau Kila, and they thereby turned indifferent towards you, Bhagavan. They were not at all interested in you. Had they been interested in you, that would have given them that humility. Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Varam Dadati Vinayam. Even the Vara would have given him that humility. But they didn't have Tvad Vimukau Kila, Akhelatam Chira. So they started indulging in lot of sensual pleasures for a very, very, very long time. Surapagayam kilatau madotkatau Surapagayat bahu yavvata vrutau Vivasatau keli parau sanarado Bhavat padaika pravano niraikshata Saha Naradaha Bhavat padaika pravanaha. That Narada, Tyagaraja Swami says, Varanarada Narayana Smarana Nandanubhavamu Varanarada Narayana Smarana. The one who is always engaged in the continuous, that is uninterrupted remembrance of Narayana. Bhagavan is Narada. Naram Dadati iti Naradaha. He is just not the one who keeps thinking of Bhagavan. He also bestows knowledge on those people who meditate upon him. Vara Narada Narayana Smarana. Saha Naradaha Bhavat Padaika Pravanaha. Devoted solely to your feet. Kila Niraikshata Madot Katau. So it appears both of them saw intoxicated with pride. They were extremely very proud of all that they had received. Thereby, when they saw Narada, Keli Parau Vivasasau, they were engaged in sports without any clothes on them. So they were engaged in sports without Nagraha, absolutely naked. Keli Parau Vivasasau Surapagayam, in the divine river called as Ganga. So in the waters of Ganges, they were engaged in water sports absolutely in a naked state. That time, Surapa Gayat Bahu Yavvata Vrutau. That too, not just two of them, with very many women of the Devaloka, they were engaged, and they were also under the pressure or probably the pleasure of liquor. So they had drunk, which is Varuni, whatever way we call it, Varuni, and they were in an intoxicated state with women in the divine waters of Ganga without clothes. All of this was happening, and thereby when they were in that state, they wouldn't have taken notice of the great Maharshi Narada, whom they had to duly pay their respects to. Bhiya priya lokamupatta vasasam puro nirikshapi mahandhachetasau madandhachetasau imau bhavad bhaktyupashanti siddhaye munirjagau shanti mrute krita sukham. Bhavat Bhakta Upashanti Siddhaye. In order, now Narada thought these people who are sons of Kubera have to engage in penance. They have to keep seeing Bhagavan Swarupam and Rupam instead of doing all these amorous sports, those sports which give them sensual pleasures. So taking extreme mercy on the both, Bhavat Bhakti Upashanti Siddhaye Munihi Jagau Imau. that particular Munihi, that particular Narada, Jagau Imau, cursed the both of them, Manigriva and Nalakubera, Madhanda Chetasau, whose faculty was not at all working because of the intoxication, Niriksha Puraha Api, in spite of seeing before them, Priyalokam, because of the beautiful damsels around, they didn't take notice. Upatta Vasasam Bhiya, putting on their clothes for fear. Now, when Narada took notice of this, Narada had come, they had not taken notice. They were in an intoxicated state, naked state with the women in the divine waters of Ganga. When Narada had arrived, they didn't take notice. When Narada got angry and was cursing them, that is when they took their clothes and they put it on. Kutaha sukham rute shantim upattavasasam bhiya kritaha sukham rite shantim. So they were absolutely happiness without tranquility. So what is the use of those sensual pleasures which don't give us peace? If at all pleasure is meant for peace, and those activities that only give us pleasure and no peace, of what use are they? Kutaha sukham rute shantim, asks Bhattatri here. Yuvam avaptau kakubhatmatam chiram harim nirikshya padam swamapnutam itiritau tau bhavadikshana spriham gatau vrajante kakubhau babhuvatuhu. Yuvam avaptau, both of them, that is Nalakubera and Manigriva, after having attained. So they were cursed, since they were in a state that is senseless. They had no sense that Narada was there. They were absolutely numb. So Bhagavan said, why should you need the body of a yaksha, of an asura, of a rakshasa, or even of a human, Nara? You should both become trees. Yuvam avaptau, both of these young men, Nalakubera and Manigriva, kakubhatmatam chiram. So for a very long time they stayed as two Arjuna trees. Apnutam swam padam. That is when Narada said, you shall be trees for a very long time. Thereby, apnutam swam padam. You shall attain your original form, original state. Atha nirikshyam harihi. After having a darshana of Narayana, of Hari. Iti iritau tau. Having been spoken by the sage. So Narada Maharshi has cursed them this way. They, both of them, Gatau bhavadikshana spriham. Bhavadikshana spriham. Out of the desire of having vision of you, babhuvatuhu kakubhau vrajante. They turned into Arjuna trees, which is the Kakubha trees, in the very Vrajante, in that very place where these Braja people were staying, which is Gokulam. So these two trees that were spotted in the courtyard of Nandagopa were none but the cursed sons of Kubera called Nalakubara and Manigriva, on account of the curse pronounced upon them by Narada Maharshi for their very bad behavior. Now, will they get moksha? See, all this is said. Krishna was tied to the mortar, he is Damodara. On the other hand are these two trees which were cursed by Narada Maharshi to become Arjuna trees. So will they get their original form? How will they get? How will Krishna aid them getting their forms? That is what is going to be seen in the next episode.
Life is a learning. Every day is a learning. So why stop? We are very happy to present Ramayana Pariksha RAP 2025. This is being organized by our trust Deshika Daya. It is an online examination. All that you have to do is to read the book Ramayanam Volume 1 that I have authored, and 2, register for the exam. It is happening on the 22nd of June 2025. Exciting prizes, and the biggest prize is reading the Ramayana and answering the questions. Age no bar, geography no bar. So why stop? Register soon. Namaskar.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते। नारायण 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 नारायण